there's seats up front if anyone would like to come sit down. I hope you're all taking the chance to check out each other's booths. There's just, I've almost been in tears quite a few times today just seeing all the incredible work you're doing. I'm really excited. So I hope even if you are staffing a booth, you get to check out everyone else's booths as well. It looks like I started a little too soon. We're waiting for... Sorry, yeah. My name is Claire Ross, and I am the Assembly's Legislative Liaison, and I help them with this ARPA project, as well as Allie Hartman, so you might recognize our names from the communications. And I'm not actually on the agenda, I was just getting your attention. I'll hand it over to our wonderful chair, Susanna Prince, to open up the program.
Thank you so much, Claire, and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us today for this historic and joyful celebration. My name is Suzanne LaFrance, and I am your chair of the Anchorage Assembly. My co-host for the day is Assembly Vice Chair Christopher Constant. Where is he? We are joined by our fellow Assembly members, Pete Peterson, Kevin Cross in the back, Felix Rivera. I saw Meg Zeller. Oh, and Meg Zeller. Did I get everyone from the Assembly? Great. We are also joined by our wonderful Assembly staff. We have Claire Ross. I love it. This is a joyful, celebratory crowd. Allie Hartman, Travis Turner, Shelley Roughton, and Jasmine Akers, and Daryl Hess. And many of the grant recipients, thank you so very much for being here today and for the work that you do. I also want to acknowledge Portia Erickson from the Mayor's Office. And Ken Miller, who works closely with Portia, for their tremendous work and collaboration in this process. So again, thank you for joining us today to recognize and celebrate our community's tremendous accomplishment of appropriating $51 million of Anchorage's share of the American Rescue Plan Act, or ARPA. This was truly a community effort, and I want to thank each of you for the important role you played in making this happen. As Assembly members, we are committed to the economic health and development of our community and have worked hard to deliver federal relief funds to the people and businesses who need it the most. Over the past 2 years, we distributed a record-breaking $214 million to local businesses, nonprofits, and individuals that help prevent an economic crisis and delivered valuable services to people in need. With this third and final round of $51 million in federal relief funding, the Assembly recognized the unique opportunity and responsibility to do as much good in the community as possible. Through an extensive public process, the Assembly decided to fund projects that focused on economic resilience, increasing our competitiveness as a destination city, and making all parts of our city vibrant and welcoming. While it wasn't possible to fund all of the necessary and important work being done in our community, the Assembly is really proud of the work we were able to fund, both in last year's distribution and in the distribution that will soon make its way to community organizations. To give you a better sense of the impact of this funding, we've invited a few of the grantees to come up and share their stories. First, I invite Jasmine Smith with the Business Boutique to tell us more about ARPA's impact on the business community. Welcome, Jasmine.
Pardon that face, I was thinking on last. That is okay. So I'm just going to talk briefly about what the business boutique specifically did for ARPA, and we're working on a Moja co-working later, but I wanted to focus on that right now. So our group was administering the gift card program, and the gift card program was designed to help with gas, groceries, household items, medical needs, and other necessities during the heightened part of the pandemic. We were helping individuals and we helped families as well. And we are very candid to always say this was one of the most rewarding things we've ever done, and hands down the hardest. And I wanted to just share a little bit about what we did and what that meant for us and the impact that we had. So on top of getting to visit every corner of the municipality, we're very proud of the impact that we had and are really thankful for the Assembly for supporting this. And we're really thankful for the other partners that helped make this happen as well, and the administration at the time and the administration now. So I just wanted to share a little bit to give you guys an idea, and feel free to let me know if I'm talking too much. So when we did our program, we did online applications, we did in-person applications and telephone applications, and a big shout out to the Navigator program with the Literacy Project. They were very helpful in vetting applications and making sure we reached as many diverse communities as possible. We received 25,422 non-vetted applications, and we had to go through each application and make sure they qualified, make sure they lived in the municipality, make sure they were really in need, and verify all information that they put on their application. So after we did that, if I just summarize rounds 1, 2, and 3, we helped 8,319 families. We helped 1,899 individuals and elderly and disabled individuals, and that was round 1 and 2. Currently in round 3, we helped another 11,204 individuals and families, and about 6,000 of those had children under the age of 18. We worked with stores such as Red Apple, Natural Pantry, Cars, Fred Meyer, and Walmart. And when we broke down who we were able to serve, about 61% of them said it was the first time that they had gotten COVID help, this at the time. And the top languages that we were able to serve when we helped in that program that weren't English speakers was Samoan, Spanish, and Tagalog. And other things that stood out to us in terms of this program and helping was our top 4 zip codes that received gift cards was 99504, the Muldoon area, was about a quarter of the people. 99508, Mountain View Airport Heights, followed by Tudor, Lake Otis, downtown Fairview, followed by Spenard area, specifically Coots, Midtown, and then Raspberry and Sand Lake. So that data to me shows it was need across the city. And it was need from Eagle River to Girdwood, and we were really thankful to be able to help everybody in need. And the other things that we wanted to share was a shout out to, again, we said the Navigators program, Ohana Media for helping us run advertisements in English and different languages to reach people. The Federation of Community Councils for making sure we didn't miss any neighborhoods. At the time, there was the ERTF Equity and Inclusion Committee was a big one. Another shout out to Felix, who also was instrumental in helping map this and make this happen. And then the last thing we just wanted to say was, again, it was a lot of work, it was a lot of long days. We joked that when mail got returned, we were acting like Santa and delivering gift cards on Christmas Eve and just making sure people had their cards. But we're really thankful to have been able to help and have that level of impact. And you know, we're always open to help in any other way possible.
Thank you so much, Jasmine. Next up, we have Shauna Toma with Roadmap to a Vital and Safe Anchorage to talk about the benefits to downtown revitalization and one of the many powerful collaborations between sectors made possible by ARPA.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Again, my name is Shauna Toma, and I am here on behalf of a very big group, a leadership group, and also Michael Fredericks, who works on this project along with me, and the leadership group, and also the wide-ranging members of the RVSA, which you too can be part of it. It's a roadmap to a vital, safe Anchorage, and this is an informal organization that formed during COVID as a way to figure out how to get Anchorage, like specifically downtown and businesses, through the pandemic and also the economic downturn we'd all been experiencing before the pandemic. We had a double whammy in Alaska and Anchorage especially. And we all know and love our downtown and we love our businesses, but it was a tough time. And so we took on this little tiny project of trying to figure out what to do. If you went downtown during that time, and this is not just about downtown, but it's definitely ended up being a focal point. We didn't even recognize it really. But a group of business people and organizations got together to do something, and no one knew exactly what to do or where to start, but they got together, and this, our community has to thank the Anchorage Economic Development Council Corporation, the Visit Anchorage, the Anchorage Chamber, the Eagle River Chamber, the Alaska Hospitality Retailers, and the Anchorage Downtown Partnership for getting together, and also some key business owners, just like, what can we do? And they got together and started working really during the pandemic still to get us to today. When the opportunity for funding came about, they applied, we've reapplied now twice, I believe, and the amazing power that it has given this community to turn downtown around is really the power to focus on downtown and the business community every single day. I can't thank you enough, and on behalf of everyone. We all want things to be changed here. We know we want downtown cuter and safer. I always say, I just want to be able to buy a cup of coffee in my half of downtown, and it can't. You can't even get a candy bar down there if you need chocolate. So we can do better than this. And those are, that's a very trite way of saying it, but this was a way to really re-envision what we want and what we need and what we have. And it's all about us. We don't have to wait for anyone else to come and do something for us. This is Anchorage, this is us, and we realize we have the power to do it mostly with attitude, and second, figuring out the pieces and parts to making the changes to the complex systems that make up a city. We have been to Oklahoma City a few times in the past few years. A delegation went down, sponsored by the Rasmussen Foundation some years ago and the Widener Company, and now they've been here, folks in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. Why? Because they went through a real way tougher time than we just did, and they've turned it around. In fact, we were there yesterday, yesterday afternoon, and some people in the room here too were in Oklahoma City meeting with what have become our mentors, whether they know that or not. The folks there realized they had to work together to bring change that was long-lasting, and they told us how to do it. And the folks from the administration were there. Some of them are in this room today too. We were there as part of a conference, but we specifically met with them. And I have to say, we're on track. We're doing the things we need to do. It takes a long time. It takes effort. And the dollars provided to our loose group of this organization through the AEDC are helping us focus, like I said, on downtown every single day in every aspect. A couple very quick things, it's like a haiku at this point because I know I have like 30 seconds left to talk, but we know that we need more housing to attract and retain workers, and we all know the housing situation in Anchorage. We also want to keep people here and keep them from leaving here, and in order to have housing, through this work and this funding, we have seen very clearly how downtown can support between 10 and 20,000 more people, a downtown of our size. And there are barriers to development, and we know what those are now. We have also, in so many ways, worked to address each one of those barriers and start building a place that people can afford to invest. Because it is tough here, it's expensive, we know that. So we're peeling apart all these layers of every single thing that we have found as barriers and identified, and figuring out how to do our part as business and community leaders to make those things approachable and make the change we need. We know that downtown needs to be safer in both real and perceived terms. And one thing that has come out of this is we have seen loud and clearly that we need to get the traffic out of downtown. And that's one thing I think, well, that's just how it is. It's not. Oklahoma City told us yesterday afternoon that they did the same thing. And so have cities across America. It's not just us. We have a highway through our downtown and working on changing things like that. And we know how to do it and what it takes. We are going to continue to work through next year because of the funding we just received again, and involving, some of you already are involved, people can be involved, and what I mean by saying involved is when we need testimony or help working on one aspect, working on the Seward to Glen connection or something with AMAT or something with the assembly, then we call on the, members to write letters, to weigh in, to pay attention. And we're learning really a lot more how our city works. Everyone is. And I've worked in government for a long time, I have worked in the past in city government, in the private sector now, and that power, the knowledge is power. And we finally have the opportunity to do that. So I look forward to, there's a lot happening downtown as you go walk around. There are cranes and there's construction happening. The ACDA has several big projects going on. I think you'll be surprised. Go downtown. The tourists have moved out now, but take a look, take a walk around. And I hope you see what we see, which is a lot of hope and a lot of economic development. So thank you, Assembly and leadership at this time.
Thank you so much, Shauna. Now we'll hear from Jen Clark with Thread to talk about the benefits to childcare, the childcare sector, and families.
I'm going to try this not Gen X. I didn't print anything out, so we'll see if I can really work virtually. Hi, I'm Jen Clark. I'm the Professional Development Director at Thread, and if you're not familiar with Thread, we are the Child Care Resource and Referral Network for the state of Alaska. And we're really happy to be here and to have partnered with the municipality to be able to provide support to early educators and ensure that they were aware of and connected to any COVID money that they might have been eligible for. We were hearing early in the pandemic that child care programs were struggling financially. That's not typically unheard of with the child care field, but even more so. But that they didn't have the capacity to research and find funding sources that they might be eligible for. So the muni awarded us $100,000 to be able to, for our professional development specialists, to be able to reach out to market funding that might be available to them, to call them individually and make sure that they were aware of what was available, to direct them to our website, just to keep them up to date on what was going on and what they might have access to. We also provided technical assistance if they were unclear on how to fill out applications. Some of them are kind of cumbersome, and working in a virtual world was new for many of them, so how to upload their W-9, how to sign things electronically, so sharing screens and really walking them through those steps. Some of the other work that we were able to do, besides making them aware of the federal and state and local funding that they might be eligible for and helping them with those applications, were providing them resources on vaccines when those became available, supporting them in their mitigation planning when mandates were coming out and they were scrambling to know which ones they needed to follow, and then understanding the current and evolving CDC guidelines. So just making sure that they knew what was required of them and they had what they needed to make that happen. One provider shared with us in a recent round of telephone calls, just checking in to see where providers were. She shared that she was concerned about the low enrollment in her program and needing 4 more students as soon as possible to be able to keep her business open. And she said that the COVID relief money that we helped her apply for was extremely important to keeping her afloat because she's been paying for food, toys, and PPE out of her own pocket, not her business account. So that being said, we also that's kind of what we've done, and what's coming is that the Thread was just awarded another $8.1 million from the Muni to be able to provide direct funding to programs. So we'll be reaching back out, making sure that they're aware that that funding is available and how to apply for that. So we're very excited and grateful for that as well. And I'll just end by saying that childcare is still very much steeped in recovering from COVID. I'm sure if you're a business owner or you have coworkers, you know that childcare is a struggle. And in the municipality right now, we have our busing shortage, which is not making that any better for anybody. And they're really struggling, like most other sectors, I think, in recruiting and retaining a qualified workforce. So we're working to support these small businesses, because that's what they are, with resources and support that they need. And this partnership with the MOA is really greatly appreciated and influential in that. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Jen. Finally, Tyler Robinson with Cook Inlet Housing Authority to talk about benefits to housing.
Thank you, Chair LaFrance and members of the Assembly. Thank you all for being here to the NAVE, a project that, just as an aside, we finished during the pandemic, and now we finally get to put people in it. That's nice. But on behalf of our staff, our board, and future residents, we really appreciate the ARPA investment that you've made in new housing construction. Last week, we had our grand opening for 48 units at Chabala Corners, right across the street. This funding award fills our gap to complete a second phase with site work already under construction on another 38 units of affordable rental housing. I hope that you all made it here despite the construction obstacle of 36th Avenue, but that to us is a good sign. It means that we're building more housing. We're also able to advance a 20-unit development in the center of Mountain View on the former Brewster's site. Some of you might remember that site. And if you're wondering what that big, dirty, dusty B is over there, that's the original B from the Brewster's sign with other letters that I'm currently hiding in an undisclosed location. But I'm looking forward to the day to no longer have to cart those letters around from building to building. We hope to be able to display them on a new building at some point in the near future. And we're also going to advance a build-out of homeownership condos at Coronado Park and Eagle River, which is a short walk from everyone's favorite coffee shop, Jitters. We know that Anchorage needs new housing in all parts of our community and at all, really, but at the highest price points. The vast majority of multifamily housing stock is more than 40 years old in our community. We need housing to replace this aging stock, but also to provide housing for our current residents, for our growing senior population, and to retain and attract the diverse workforce needed to sustain Anchorage. So we'd simply like to thank the Assembly for acknowledging housing as a core pillar to Anchorage's recovery and growth. You are now our forever partners in these developments. You're in our funding stack, so thank you, and we look forward to making these things happen in the coming years.
Thank you, Tyler, for sharing about the important work of Cook Inlet Housing. And also thank you for being a host today here in this lovely facility. We're really grateful for the work that Cook Inlet is doing in the north part of Anchorage, in the west part of Anchorage, in the east, in the central part of Anchorage, Midtown, Eagle River, and maybe they need you in Girdwood too. So thank you. And Shauna, there's one place I know you can get a candy bar downtown, and that's at Kobuk. But they close at 6 p.m. So it's the midnight candy bar you're talking about. And there's not just one highway cutting through the downtown, there are two. And it is an ongoing and enduring problem we have to solve. So also, I would like to thank our legislative staff. I have brief comments. I had brief comments, but now they're long because they give me great notes. So as my colleague mentioned, my name is Christopher Constant, Vice Chair of the Anchorage Assembly, serving the north part of town, which actually starts at this corner right here. And after hearing these speakers talk and having an opportunity to tour around the various booths here today, I am just filled with gratitude, the work that we as a community were able to do with the funding that we received through President Biden's American Rescue Plan Act, which for the first time in the history of these kinds of appropriations, the money came directly to the local government and gave us an opportunity to decide which projects and programs were the best. And having lived in Alaska long enough, I can tell you we know best what's better for our community than they do in Juneau. And so I'm grateful for the funding that we have. It's clear that this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity has injected real resources into our local community and made a difference as we try to move through this pandemic and, yes, the recession we've been in since 2015, nearly 10 years. So throughout this process, we as Assembly members faced a very difficult process. We had for just this second round of ARPA, 160 submissions totaling $262 million, with $51 million available in this tranche. And so we had to work hard to hew to some principles that we wanted to ensure that equity was at the forefront of what we were doing, that the funds would be across the board achieving impacts, not just in one tier. Like there was a lot of pressure just to support one set of businesses or one set of programs. Instead, we worked really hard to be fair and provide services across economic and community barriers alike. In the end, while not every project was funded, I believe we did create a balanced package that is making now significant improvements in our community, whether we're talking about economic development, housing and homelessness, community investments, and even direct municipal relief to projects. And we are proud of the work that we've done on this project because it's now empowering you to do work on your projects, which are where the fruits will come from this investment in transforming the lives of our children and transforming the trails that we like to recreate on and the healthcare facilities that have very important practical implications for our community and job development programs and entrepreneurship and so many things. So of course, I urge you to take some time, if you haven't yet, to visit all of the Expo partners here who are sharing their projects with you. And also, please, if there's any left, because if I had my way, there wouldn't be, enjoy some of the treats by Concoction Bread and Provisions. I know I had a piece of that blueberry cake, I guess, and it is an absolute delight, and I want to take it home. And so, next, we're going to get to, just before that, let's say to Katie Wright from Concoctions, thank you. She was a participant in the Anchorage Community Land Trust Set Up Shop program, which was funded through our initial ARPA program and also existed before we came around because it's just the right thing to do. I would also like to thank Professional Growth Systems, John Gregoire, and Drew Kaysen for your help in facilitating this project with us. And so next, we're going to proceed to the table below the stage here for the bill signing, where Chair LaFrance will sign Assembly Resolution 2022-178S as amended that made all of this possible. And before doing that, I want to echo Chair LaFrance's acknowledgement of everybody who played a role in this. My fellow Assembly members, our staff, the administration, and there were a couple of members here earlier, I'm not sure that they're still here, to the project facilitators and everybody who helped to make this a fair and rigorous process, and to every one of you organizations who've taken time to submit proposals and to be here today. You're doing the vital work and our community benefits for it. So now, let's make this official and sign the resolution.
Practice stuff with that signature.
job. Do you know, is Portia here or Ken? You know, I just want to thank them because they helped us cut the agreement. You know, kind of. Yeah. Okay. I'll run into him at some point. Thanks.
I know, we could have done it in house.
Because being in the minority, we didn't just go to the pass. Actually, two bills really passed, like, not here. One of them, the governor never signed it, it's too far. After a while, I think he does it.
That's how the property taxes and I don't know, 10 now? That it is the yeah, this time's out. Okay. Well, I hope that this is the best bill signing ever.
It's the first one I've been to since I've been on the assembly. I remember going to something else. I don't think it was a bill sign. Yeah, the reason he was Hankins decided that we were going to consider former peaceful volunteers as a priority group. So that's why they had that. And so he had me there because I had told the story and he wanted me to tell it. And it was the story. It was the story about Pedro.
That's awesome. That is so good. Yeah, oh, Pedro, you're Pedro.
After all my people friends took off. I called one of them on the phone and I haven't talked to him in 20 years. I said, hey dude, it's Pedro. And they know exactly what it is.
More of these resolution signings and then find a way to hear a story. And whether it's Pedro or the disco, I'm still so interested in learning all of
The time is running short, you know. We're at less than 7 months. We're right around 7 months now. Yeah, boy, I gotta tell you, I was trying to get caught up on emails yesterday about Washington. Yeah. I was sitting for an hour. Finally, I looked down and that's the last one. Finally. So then I looked down and it's 20 after 8. So no wonder I'm getting hungry. So I've been sitting there for like 4.5 hours. But I did finally get one, an email from somebody in my district that I know they're in my district. If it's an email that's addressed to me specifically, it's reinforced, but just the ones that's to everybody, unless I know who it is. There's just not enough time.
Especially not to say anything meaningful
Somebody sent an email to a bunch of hockey players, and they forwarded it. They cut the paste that we got posted on, so those didn't take long to read. Well, Honeman was testing me during the meeting yesterday. No, don't use any of the hockey facilities. Well, in a tough situation, you gotta use something, you gotta put it somewhere. So the Sullivan's already torn up, they haven't spent the money to fix it, so it's the least worst place available. Well, the fact that the testimony yesterday is sort of giving us permission to put him back in the Sullivan because they said that was much more comfortable but now we got to see what the name is. You might not be the Indian house, but that's what we we're hoping to be doing the Sullivan. They had the first home game Monday and yesterday. So there's no time to get Sullivan ready. Can't be done.
Thank you.